Hello! So have you ever been frustrated because these pens dry out and you feel bad for buying the whole plastic thing just because the ink ran out? Well, I'll show you how to fill any of these up. I love these pens. I'll show you, these are Pilot V ball pens and they're pretty old, as you can see, and I've filled them many times and they still work great. So how to fill a non-refillable pen? You'll need, of course, your pens that have dried out. As you can see, this pen is totally dried out and I have to fill it up. And the same with the others. So we'll need our pens, a scrap piece of paper for testing, a lot of rugs that you don't mind getting destroyed. These are offcuts from my sewing. This used to be t-shirts and I recycled them into other things, and these are the scraps that are left over. You can use whatever, just something you don't mind. Please wear something dark just in case. Maybe tissue paper and of course inks and a syringe, and I'll talk about this later. First of all, what kind of inks? For this, it is important what kind of ink you have. Calligraphy ink will work well, or any kind of ink that says that it is suitable for fountain pens. That means it won't clog your pen. But of course, if you choose a not waterproof ink, then your pen will not be waterproof. I will use this one for the red one, and it's not waterproof, but it is suitable for fountain ink. This is calligraphy ink. There's another ink that is used in this kind of markers that are refillable, and it's mixed media paint marker, but I'm not sure this would work for these pens because these pens are much thinner. Their nib is much thinner and I think it would clog it because this is paint acrylic ink, so I wouldn't use acrylic ink for this. I would, however, use this rotring ink. This is especially made for this kind of fine liners, so it will certainly be also suitable for Pilot pen or any other kind of pen because it's a very good ink. It's thin, it won't clog your pen, and it's waterproof, so it's really good choice, but it's not so cheap. And then we have our drawing inks. I have tried these two in my Pilot pens and I haven't tried this one yet. And this is normal Chinese, or they also call it Indian ink. It's waterproof ink and so far it hasn't clogged my pens. Although it's not stated that it would be suitable for fountain pens, but it was not a problem for me so far. Also this one, it's a very old ink and it's the most normal cheap drawing ink that you can find and that usually you buy for kids for school. It's also waterproof and really cheap, and it worked great actually. This is another one. I think this one is, yes, also for drawing and calligraphy, and usually the inks that are stated to be for calligraphy will not clog your pens that much. It's not 100% guarantee, but it really helps. And then you'll need a syringe to fill your thing. This one is just a normal small syringe. The size doesn't matter that much. Where have you heard that? But what matters is that if you don't want to get stabbed and have a permanent tattoo, if your ink is permanent, your tattoo will be permanent if you fill it with ink and then you poke yourself unintentionally. So I would advise you kindly to use pliers, chop off that point that is pointy, and then just sand it off on some sanding blocks or sandpaper. It works for me great. It's not, as you can see, it's not sharp anymore. Of course, you can also buy these blunt needles. I think they're on Amazon and elsewhere, but I already had this syringe because I worked in laboratory and we used a lot of those just for alcohol, and I can reuse them at home. Another thing that you'll need probably are pliers. If you're not very strong, this comes in handy. Because what we need to do is take this part off. And sometimes it comes off nicely. And if you happen to be able to take the whole part out, also this part, then it's much easier to fill it. But usually this part gets stuck in and we have to do it differently. We can put this away. I like to put it on a scrap piece of paper. I like to raise it so it's not horizontal, so my ink won't run. Okay, this process can be messy. Try to not put the needle deeper than needed. So just put the end of the needle into it, tap it off, tap it up so that all the bubbles come up, and also wipe it off. Now, you see, I've got my whole syringe full of ink, and I can really slowly start to I insert the tip into the hole, and then I very slowly fill it. If you do it quickly, it will just come on the other side. You have to be quite patient and it takes some time, but then you have a pen. You can also try to fill it on the other hole. Okay, now you can see the two holes, one in the middle and the little air vent on the side. And you can fill it through whichever hole you like. You can try. I usually do it a little bit with one and a little bit with the other, and you go really slow. You fill it a little bit and you wait for it to get sunken in, and you will be surprised how little ink this thing needs. If you get a small pool here, you can tap it like I just did. You see the small pool, and I tap it so that the ink sinks easier. Of course, it would be ideal if we could fill it here, but sometimes it is really hard for this part to let the ink down. So maybe you'll have to do it more often than you would like to. If you happen to get this part out as well, then it will be much easier. Then you just fill it in. But like this, we need some patience. And even so, it really lasts a long time. When you see the ink starts to pool all the time, that's when you need to stop. You reinsert this fibery stuff in, and now you can screw this on again. You have to take care because this part is made of many fibers, as you can see, and you have to get them all in, and you just push it in, and that's it. As you can see, now this writes. I always like to wipe it just in case, and that's it. So that's how easy it is to refill a pen. Like and subscribe, and I hope to see you next week. Bye bye!